Hi, this is Eric Martin with Board Game Geek. I'm here with Scott DeCastino from WizKids Games, and we're here for Spiel 2013 in a secret room that's unmarked.
WizKids secret lair.
WizKids secret lair. And we're looking at Avengers versus X-Men, a Marvel Dice Masters game. I'm not sure exactly the phrase.
Perfect. So, Dice Masters is a new game platform that we are in development, and right now this is a pre-production copy that we're just showing to select few, and including Board Game Geek universe here. But so it's cut-out cards, so just pre-production copy. And Marvel is going to be the first license that we're working with, and the first set that we'll come out with is Avengers versus X-Men. This is the game platform Dice Masters. We have actually also announced that we are working on one for Yu-Gi-Oh! As well. Okay. That'll come out afterwards.
Okay. Now, obviously, there has to be a connection with Couriers, or at least a development from that. So just looking at this to begin with.
Yes.
So, what is the Dice Master system? What makes it?
Dice Masters is a dice building game. So very similar along the veins to Couriers, and certainly any players who played Couriers will be very familiar with how the gameplay works. But there's a couple key differences. So in similarities, there's we have some play mats here that are just hand cut right now that show you the movement of the dice around the board. You're going to have your bag of dice, which is your collection of dice. As you draw your dice and roll them, that's like, you know, in a deck building game, drawing your hand of cards. You're going to spend what we call energy here. In Couriers, it was quiddity, to either recruit new dice to your collection or to field them, which was like readying them in Couriers, which then they'll be able to attack other players. And then once you use the dice, they're going to go to your use pile. When you run out of dice to your bag, you're going to take your use pile and put it back into your bag to reload your deck, as it were. The differences between this Marvel Dice Masters and Couriers is the Dice Master system is designed as a head-to-head gameplay. And it is also where, instead of in the Couriers game where you have a communal wilds that you can recruit from, here, you actually build your team, your personal team. So if you and I were playing a game of Dice Masters, I would come to the game with 8 character cards and the dice that go along with them. Our standard game setup is going to be 8 character cards and 20 dice. So I have more dice than character cards, so I actually get to choose my distribution of how I want to put the dice on the cards. And typically it's going to be, there's some cards, characters that are lower cost up to the real high cost ones, so you might only want to put 1 or 2 dice on the high cost and put more on the lower cost ones so you get them out early. But the high point ones are really powerful, so if you get to that point in the game that you can afford to get that die, it can be very powerful. And I have my team of characters, and of course I'm going to design my team so it's got a nice synergy with their effects. And you have your team of characters. I can't recruit from your team, and you can't recruit from my team. However, we do also bring what's called basic action cards. And the basic action cards are communal. And we would each bring 2 of them. And there's a set of standard dice for basic action that would come in the starter set. And you just choose what color those dice would match up to. But you can recruit the basic action cards that dice that I bring, and I can recruit the ones that you bring.
Obviously, choosing powers that work well with,
exactly.
Yeah,
ones that'll work with your team, how you've designed it. You're going to, very similar again to Couriers and other dice building games that we've done, you're going to roll your dice, and there's different types of energy that we have. That's energy is the money, the mana, the quiddity, the thing you buy stuff with in this game, to recruit different characters. But the characters have symbols that correspond with the energy, so that's a requirement that you have to spend at least one of that type of energy to recruit that character. So I rolled a bunch of masks here, but let's say I had rolled a bolt face, I could spend the bolt and 2 other energy to recruit this Hawkeye die. So hopefully later on, he's going to end up back in my pool, and I'm going to be able to roll him later on. Jumping into combat here, we have characters that would be fielded, and I can attack against your characters
using my gambit.
I'm using, yeah, that's true. You should have the gambit. So you're attacking me. Storm and Gambit are going to attack. I've got Hawkeye as a defender. Another difference in terms of how attacking's done. In Warriors, attacking's only one direction. I attack, it attacks against everybody else, but the attack value of the defender doesn't matter. Here, both characters, attackers and defenders, are actually going to attack each other. So we would compare attacks and defenses against each other. And I have to choose my blockers and specific characters I'm blocking. So in this case here, if I choose to block, I might want to choose to block your Storm with my Hawkeye, but your Gambit is unblocked. So he would actually, each player has a life total. So in the head-to-head gameplay, it's instead of in Warriors where you're scoring points for creatures that survive, in here you're trying to attack the other player and knock down their life total to 0. So in that case there, I would have blocked your Storm, but your Gambit would have come through and dealt me 2 damage directly from my life total. That's the basic gameplay. There's of course effects on all the cards, and each character is going to have different versions of the cards that will correspond to the different dice. Again, pre-production copy, I promise you Captain America will not be mint green in color.
I was going to mention that. You were setting that up. I'm just like, clearly, where's the red and blue? Okay.
So, the other thing I want to mention, we are going to be selling this as a starter set, which will have enough for 2 players to play for $14.99. with a set of common cards that will be in every set, fixed pack. And then we'll be selling booster packs or expansion packs that are 2 cards, 2 dice. And we're looking at doing them at a retail of 99 cents each, that you'll be able to build your collection. And there will be a rarity scheme to it. So there's going to be common, uncommons, rares, and even super rare cards, but they'll key off the same dice. So if you get a super rare card and you have the common version of the card, or if it's one that's in the starter set, you'll already have your collection of dice to use that in the game.
Okay. And will the dice automatically pair up with the cards when you get a dice out of the pack, though?
They might not be the same 2 dice and 2 cards, but you'll always have the dice in the card will match up.
Okay. Well, thanks very much for the overview, Scott. I look forward to seeing more. Obviously, this is more and designed to all work together.
Yes, and we're looking sometime probably late of first quarter of next year to having this released, and so we'll be showing it off more as we go. But we appreciate you taking the time to come by and
thank you.
The sneak peek here.
Thank you.